So, what really separates a good mentorship from a great one? It's not just about having a few good conversations, it's about building a truly dynamic partnership. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how to make that happen, whether you're the one passing the torch or the one who's ready to receive it.
First things first, let's be super clear on what we're talking about. This isn't your typical kind of passive, let's grab coffee mentorship. We're focusing on what's called active mentorship, and that is a deliberate, hands-on process that's designed for one thing and one thing only: the successful transfer of real skills and responsibilities to the next generation of leaders.
And this quote really gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? This process is the absolute core of any leadership handover. But here's the key, and you really got to get this. It's a two-way street. It demands active participation from both the mentor, the torch giver, and the mentee, the torch receiver. The success of the whole thing depends entirely on both of you being fully engaged. So here's our game plan. We'll start with how to build that active partnership. Then we'll dive into the specific roles. First for the mentor who's passing the torch, and then for the mentee who's grabbing it. After that, we'll cover the art of feedback, which is what connects them. And finally, we'll talk about your next step. All right, let's kick things off with the mentors, the torch givers. To build this partnership, it all starts with a huge shift in your role. And honestly, it's one of the hardest transitions in leadership. You have to move from being the doer to being the developer. Your new goal isn't just about getting the task done anymore. It's about getting it done well through someone else.
Now, this slide here makes a really critical distinction. Are you dumping or are you delegating? Because dumping is just offloading work. It's giving a task with zero context, which pretty much sets your mentee up to fail. True delegation, on the other hand, well, that's about entrusting a responsibility. It means you're providing total clarity on the task, its purpose, and the authority your mentee has to actually get it done. To really see this in action, let's talk about what we call unwritten knowledge. This is all that crucial stuff that's in your head but isn't written down in any manual. So imagine you tell your mentee this simple instruction: get all the receipts to the treasurer. Okay, seems clear enough, right? But look at what happens when you just add the why, because if we are late, our entire project funding is at risk. See? That little bit of context is everything. It transforms a simple chore into a shared understanding of a critical part of the organization. Sharing the why is probably the most valuable thing you can do as a mentor. And this brings us to what is, for sure, the hardest part for any leader: letting go. You have to fight that urge to just jump in and fix it yourself. So here's the bottom line. Your goal is building capability, not hitting your own personal standard of perfection. A 90% good enough task that builds your mentee's skill? That's a massive long-term win for everybody. Okay, let's flip the script and look at the other side of this partnership. For the mentees, the torch receivers, your role is not to be some passive student just sitting there. You have to be an active, reliable partner in your own development. Your mindset is every bit as important as your mentors. And this slide just illustrates that core mindset shift perfectly. Are you a helper or are you an owner? A helper waits around for instructions. An owner proactively looks for what needs to be done. If you really want to grow, you have to shift from just waiting to truly owning your role. That is how you earn trust and get bigger responsibilities. So, how do you actually do that? Well, you practice what's called managing up. Look, your mentor is busy. Your job is to make it easy for them to teach you. So first, you nail the work you're given. Be super reliable. Then, start looking ahead. Identify the next logical challenge and ask a really specific, actionable question about it. You're not waiting anymore. You're actively pulling the learning toward you. Let me give you a perfect example. That phrase, "let me know if I can help," sounds nice, but it actually creates more work for your mentor. Now they have to stop and think of something for you to do. Now compare that to saying, "Can I take gathering the statistics for the funding report off your plate?" That is specific, it shows you're paying attention, and it solves a real problem for them. Huge difference. All right, let's talk about the thing that holds this entire partnership together: feedback. And this isn't just some formal process, it's the bridge that connects the mentor and the mentee. It's what turns mistakes into learning and builds trust along the way. For mentors, the golden rule is to focus on the task, not the person. Saying "this flyer is terrible" is vague, it's personal, and it's just demoralizing. But good feedback, it's specific. "Hey, I noticed you used our old logo. Can you add the date?" That is a teaching moment. It identifies the problem, it provides the solution, and it respects the mentee's effort.
And for mentees, how you receive that feedback is absolutely everything. Don't get defensive. Your first words should show curiosity. Something like, "Thanks for catching that. Can you explain the correct way so I get it right next time?" A response like that turns criticism into a gift. It tells your mentor you're eager to learn, and that just makes them more eager to teach.
So, here's the crucial takeaway. An employee might try to hide their mistakes. A future leader owns them and learns from them. And you know what? Owning your mistakes and showing what you've learned from them is one of the fastest ways to build trust with your mentor, even faster than being perfect all the time.
Okay, so we've covered the mindsets and the skills you need for a strong, active partnership. The next step is all about taking this stuff from theory to practice and actually making it official. At the end of the day, the foundation of any successful leadership handover isn't some document. It's the active partnership that we've been talking about. So the real question to leave you with is this: are you ready to move beyond just talking about it and actually start building that partnership? Because that is the first and, without a doubt, the most important step.